Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Shaboque. On today's episode, I've got two new projects for you. For the first project, we're going to be working right here in the shop, and we're going to frame a beautiful piece of stained glass. For the second project, we're going to go and install some brand new lighting on the exterior of the workshop. Before we get going, this is your opportunity to go get a little snack and possibly a tasty beverage too. After that, sit back, relax, watch me do some work, and let's get started. Well, to start this project, I'm going to cut up some leftover cedar that I had for my shop build. This wood is cut fairly rough, so I'm going to go ahead and get this thing all nice and squared up. There are definitely some projects where you want the rough look, just like on my shop, but for today's project, I want it to be nice and smooth. The cedar has been drying for quite a long time, so it cuts nice and easy, and the bonus is it makes your entire shop smell like Silver Dollar City. Alright, now that I got the sides all nice and squared up, I'm going to get out my planer and really smooth out the flat surfaces. I don't have a dedicated place for my planer yet, so the floor is going to just have to do. The planer really kicks out those cedar chips. Now to make sure that both of the boards are the same thickness, looks good, now I can slice it up into the individual sides of the frame. Sure you guys get the best view possible while I slice these boards up. Very good. Now with all that done, we can start laying this frame out. And here's your first view of the piece of stained glass we're going to be framing. The director found this beautiful piece on Facebook Marketplace. We had to drive a couple hours to get it, but I think it was well worth it. We have a really special place I'm going to be installing this into, but you're going to have to wait to see what that is. This used to be a sign hanging from some chains, but I'm going to delete those hooks that are welded onto here so that it'll fit into my frame better. Don't forget, kids, always wear some form of safety protection when you're using an angle grinder. Your future self will thank you, even if you look completely ridiculous in the moment. So I had an idea in mind when I was first putting this together, but after I thought about it for a minute, I wanted to change how I was actually going to build the frame. Originally I was going to have some thin pieces of trim to sandwich the glass in the frame, but I changed my mind and I decided instead I'm going to take the trim pieces and I'm going to cut grooves into every single one of them. This will not only cut down the amount of parts that I have to build for this, but I feel it'll also give it better stability with the glass inside the grooves. So now I'm running each piece of the frame through my table saw, not cutting all the way through the piece of wood, slowly moving the fence so that it creates a little bit of a groove, and repeating the process on every strip of wood. I'm going to try to make the groove just a hair bit wider than the width of the frame itself. This is going to be an outdoor sign, so I want to make sure that if there's any wind, it doesn't rattle around inside the frame and possibly crack the glass. And here is the final groove. Now I need to cut each of these pieces down to size. And now I can start assembling the side. You can see how the glass slips into those little grooves and makes a nice tight fit. After making sure all of the edges were going to come together nice and clean, I can start drilling each of the holes needed and putting the screws in. I only want to drill through the outermost piece because it's the most prone to cracking. Then I'm going to hit it with the countersink to make sure the head of my screws are nice and flush. I'm hand tightening these because when you're working with cedar, like I said before, it is extremely prone to cracking. I really don't know what happened here. Clearly I goofed on one of the measurements. You can see that edge of the frame is a little bit too long, but I'll fix that in just a minute. Whoops. And here's the frame fully assembled. I clearly don't know where the camera is pointed. Here's that fix I promised you, and of course, my multi-tool to the rescue. It did leave a little bit of a burn there, but I've got a fix for that too. It's my trusty problem hider, the orbital sander. It's amazing what some sanding can do to hide mistakes. A quick little zip zap, and my mistake goes bye-bye. After putting a couple coats of the same oil that I put on my shop, here is the final result of the welcome sign. I'm not going to tell you guys where this is going to go yet. You'll just have to wait till the next episode. Alright, time to switch gears back to the shop for this little project. This is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I feel like I say that on most projects. Anyways, I need some lights on this shop on the outside. When I come out here at nighttime, I can't see a thing, so we're going to solve that problem. I made a template with a small piece of wood that's the exact same size of the base of the lights. That way I didn't have to hold the light up here to trace around it. I can just simply hold the wood up there, draw a line, and then use my good old multi-tool to cut it out. Easy breezy. The director found some really cool lights on Amazon, and we decided to match the shop to the house. So I actually went around and replaced all of the lights on our house, and now I'm putting the two on the shop. I went ahead and cut out the hole for the electrical box, and in typical shaboque fashion, there's a stud right in the way. Not anymore. Don't worry, I'm gonna patch it up. See, there we go. I sistered another 2x4 to the existing stud, and problem solved. Alright, now that the box is installed, I need to put on this little outer piece that the light connects to. Need to do a little test fit, make sure all my calculations were accurate. Through the magic of editing, they were perfect. Looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and start on the other side now. Just a rinse and repeat procedure. And we have a hole. It appears the box fits perfect, so now we can move on to mounting it into place. A 2x4 with some pocket holes in it will totally fix this problem. Back to the outside, we're going to go ahead and put on this front plate, make sure the light hangs correctly so we can go ahead and begin the wiring process. That'll do. Gonna knock out the little plug in here so that I can run some Romex in. I've already did some work in my shop up to this point, getting some electricity ran through the walls. You can see there I already have a light switch panel behind me with 4 switches. We're going to go ahead and add another switch in there that will control both of the lights at the same time. They are also going to be connected to our smart home system. That way we can remotely control these lights anywhere that we're at that we have an internet connection. Now I want to point out exactly what the warning at the front of this video said, that I am not a professional. Please do not judge me too harshly with what you're about to see. I'm going to run the wire from the second light now. This one's going to require me drilling through some studs in order to hide the wires behind the walls. As you can see here, I was just minding my own business, not trying to bother anybody, when an unwelcome visitor showed up. Apparently I had stirred up a wasp nest, and I don't know about you guys, but I do not try to make friends with them. I call this my insurance policy. Goodbye, my little friends. Now that we don't have that little problem anymore, I can run the wiring through all the holes that I drilled in the wall. To secure the Romex to the wall, I'm going to use these plastic cable staples. These are super handy because not only do they make it really easy to attach the Romex to the wall, if you make a mistake, they're not too bad to remove too. Okay, remember that part about not judging my work? This is definitely the part of the video where I need you to really concentrate on that. Yep, I've got a bunch of wires coming into here, and I had a plan coming into this as to how I was going to connect everything up. I had some light switches that I took out of the house when we converted a lot of them to smart switches, and I thought, hey, I'll just reuse it here in the shop project. Well, here's how that turned out. Whoopsie. I just want to point out this was not completely my fault. After a ton of double checking and triple checking, determined it was a bad switch. After swapping it out for an actually new switch, everything was just fine. Now it's time to finally wire the lights in. Took out the switch that tried to burn my shop down, put a brand new one in, and here is the final result. Ta-da! The lights work! Alright folks, that's gonna do it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be back soon with a really big project to share with you guys. Until then, take care, be good to each other, and I'll see you soon.